Some of my life's best afternoons have been spent in the kitchen with a few friends, chopping, cooking, baking together. It is a perfect warm bubble where we can share old stories and also create new ones. And at the same time, in the oven, the vegetables are also turning golden. What is not to like? I have quite a bit of experience in organizing both in-person cooking clubs and online. And today I'm going to share with you what I've done for both and give you some ideas. And I'll also share which one works best for me in my life right now. Let's talk about in-person cooking clubs first. I have organized some with friends and also with strangers. That was through my Vancouver Plant-Based Nutrition and Cooking Meetup group. Unfortunately, it's not very active right now. But when we did meet, we would meet either, so if with friends in my personal kitchen, but when meeting with strangers, it's nice the first time to maybe meet in a public, semi-public space. So in one case, I use my building's amenity room, and I know there's community centers, churches, and other places where you can find kitchens that you can book sometimes even for free. So if you're interested in that, you should definitely call around. And the key is to find 2 or 3 people, maximum if it's a really big kitchen, 4 or 5, but that starts to get a little bit crowded. So 2 or 3 people that share the same dietary preferences, of course, and a common baseline about hygiene in the kitchen. If you're really adamant that kitchen counters should be wiped clean at the first sign of dirt on them or a little bit of a spill, and your best friend is a slob, well, maybe getting together in the kitchen is not going to be your best way to spend the weekend. But so you find this space and then you agree on some recipe. What I found works well is that each person picks one recipe and they're responsible for the whole thing. So they multiply the ingredient list by at least 2 or maximum 3, and they get all the groceries themselves. To be fair, it's easier to set a ground rule about not picking too many expensive ingredient recipes, like things with a lot of nuts or chocolate that will end up being quite expensive. So picking more simple, rustic ingredients, and each person brings everything. So they bring the recipe, they bring all the ingredients. If there's any cookware that the host doesn't have, then it's a good idea to bring it as well. And then through the execution, that person is responsible for all the steps, though of course it's useful to assist each other. It's pretty much always possible. And so at the end, every person gets a container with food from each recipe. So you will have, if there were 4 people, you will have at least 4 containers with a little bit of everything. So it's not like you've made this massive batch of spaghetti sauce and you end up eating spaghetti sauce for the coming month. No, you have a little bit of each dish, and things like simmered soups, stews are really good for that. Also baked items, even casseroles sometimes can be great for that kind of occasion. So every person cooks one dish, helping each other out, and we each take away some of it. The key is always to leave the kitchen cleaner than it was when you arrive. It's a more certain way to get invited to do it again a little bit later. That's the in-person version. Now there's the online version that I've been running since 2021. At the end of 2020, I was really feeling sad about missing my cooking club, and I thought, well, why don't we do this on Zoom? Why not? And it started at first with mostly a few clients of my Healthy Vegan meal planning service. But now, since January 2024, it's been free to anybody who wants to cook more healthy vegan food. So it's only vegan food on camera. If you're interested in different kinds of cooking, I'm sure you can find other cooking clubs out there. But so we set a date. I've set the dates every other Sunday. I can tell you which day I'll be cooking in a year from now almost, because it's always the same. And at the said time, we each show up on Zoom in our own home kitchen. We introduce ourselves and we say what we're going to be cooking. And then we cook. It's not a class, like I'm not teaching anything. We're all going around doing our own thing. Of course, people like to ask questions of each other. Sometimes somebody is going to be doing, let's say, I don't know, seitan or practicing a new technique that other people haven't seen before, and so they will want to look. And there's always a little bit of conversation, chatter, talk about books or movies that we've seen recently. And it's kind of nice to have wireless earphones because then we can walk around and not worry about not hearing each other out. Also, the fabulous thing is that now Zoom noise reduction is super powerful. And even if you're running the blender, you don't need to worry about coming back to your screen and pressing mute. It all works automatically and it's fantastic. And I have to say, I call myself sometimes the priestess of batch cooking in jest, of course. And even though I am the strongest advocate for batch cooking you'll ever find, often I wasn't doing my own. I have 2 kids that are at an age where they have lots of activities, and then there's a birthday party and some other relative wants a piece of you, who knows? And often my batch cooking sessions would fall through. But now I have this committed date, and if somebody wants to do something at that time, I say, I'm sorry, I have cooking club. And I haven't missed a batch cooking session since early 2021. It's been such a game changer, and I'm really glad I'm doing that. And so right now for me, what works best is to be online. You can, by the way, of course, also do that with a few friends. You can get together on Zoom. The benefit is that you don't have to carry all your ingredients and your cookware, instruments, things like that, and take the containers back home. It saves a lot of time. Of course, the socialization is a little bit different. The friendships are not going to get quite as tight as they would get if we were in the same kitchen. But at this time in my life, it's really what works. However, for stuff like making Christmas cookies, baking up a huge storm, it's really nice to get together in an actual kitchen, and then you can divide the labor in a way that makes it really possible to cook 100 and something Christmas cookies in just an afternoon between 3 friends, and it's a lot of fun. And it's an opportunity to break out the stand mixer, which is something I would not do otherwise. So currently in my life, online batch cooking, the online batch cooking club, it rules, it's awesome. But of course there's some downsides, meaning that there's no economies of scale really other than the normal batch cooking economies of scale. But it's what works for me right now. So I encourage you to call up a few friends and say, hey, let's get together on Zoom, let's do this. Or if you live in the same town, get together in person, make it an event. It's really a lot of fun. And you can also, of course, join my Healthy Vegan Batch Cooking Club. We meet every other Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific. So you can find out more information about that at veganfamilykitchen.com/cooking-club. And the link will be in the notes below. But all I want is for you to cook and eat more healthy plants. Having the batch cooking makes it so much easier to eat a diversity of foods and really enjoy those great meals without having so much stress on weeknights, just because our modern lives are so busy. But making that little space on the weekend to enjoy with other people, there's not just the accountability, there's the accountability, but there's also the community, the kinship, feeling that there's other people that care about the same stuff as you. Because as somebody who eats a primarily plant-based diet, somebody who's vegan, it's easy to feel quite lonely. And so when you get together with others across multiple time zones, even if you're meeting on Zoom, it feels so positive. And sharing that goal and sharing the results together and the little achievements, it's really a fantastic practice, and I hope to see you sometime in the kitchen. And I wish you all the best. And if you've tried batch cooking with other people before, doing some kinds of cooking club, please share your experience in the comment. It will inspire others and keep more people cooking really good food. See you in the kitchen.